Welcome to another episode of Digital Futures. This time we're taking a look at the advertising world, which is currently at a fascinating transition point. We're seeing the emergence of entirely new technologies and devices and an intensely competitive audience landscape. Not to mention, the value of the global ad market for 2014 alone is forecasted $500 billion. Let's quickly highlight three of the many trends. 1. It will be mobile that will drive the strongest growth in this sector. For instance, this year alone, mobile ad spend is set to surge by 90% in the UK and over 120% in Brazil. 2. We'll see a focus on programmatic advertising, that is, targeting your audience in real time. And 3. New regional markets will take prominence. In just 2 years' time, Latin America will see more people accessing the internet via mobile devices than desktop computers. Lastly, it's the consumer who is mobile and the device just a screen. Advertisers are targeting audiences and not just the technologies in their pocket. We asked 3 advertising gurus for their take on the subject, so let's hand over to them.
I think now's a very exciting time for mobile advertising because mobile is really coming of age. The last couple of years, as smartphone penetration was relatively low and tablet penetration was relatively low, a lot of advertisers were testing and learning. We're now getting into the rollout phase because we've got scale and we've got success stories of how mobile advertising can deliver value for advertisers.
I think in the next 12 to 18 months, we will be in a mobile world. We're in this crossover year where users will start accessing the internet through a mobile device more than a desktop. So I think there's going to be a point as well when CMOs will say, I need to see 10 or 20% of my budget going into mobile now.
So I think one issue mobile advertising has traditionally had is that a lot of the creative formats aren't particularly interesting and people can see them as intrusive or things that they don't particularly want.
If you try and take a TV advert or a typical digital advert and get it onto a mobile phone, it's going to be very uninspiring. But if you think about the qualities of the device and the contextual nature and what that person's doing and what that device can do, and then reimagine that message you're trying to get through, you can create something really compelling.
Companies such as some of the operators who are looking to use some of their data to enrich the targeting of mobile ads so that you as a consumer receive something that's much more relevant to you and therefore you get a better experience and the advertiser obviously gets better results as well.
The definition I would use of native advertising is where there's a blurring or where it's advertising that looks very much like the content on the site. And what the problem with this, or what the potential danger with this, is that people might assume that it's content, it's authoritative content with all of the things that the editorial standards of the site suggest, but actually it's a paid-for message.
There's ways in which you can be super targeted, super contextual, and display what people are looking for. That's good native advertising. Bad native advertising is when you just make your advert look like content and blast it out to everybody.
So what's called programmatic trading has seen explosive growth over the last couple of years. And what happens with programmatic is that the serving and buying of advertising slots is made by a computer. It's made in real time as the advert is displayed. There's an auction that happens on a computer somewhere that decides what is the best content to serve into that ad slot. What
we've always seen is a higher rate of return on programmatic advertising because it's so much more tailored to the person seeing it than a message blindly going out to the person irrespective of different attributes you know about them.
I think it's actually going to broaden out beyond just digital and mobile advertising into things like TV advertising. It's going to start to become bought and sold programmatically. Ads will start to be sold to or served to individuals on a per television basis, per household basis.
If we look at this realistically speaking, we're still very early on in this programmatic journey. There's not in mobile. There's not many suppliers who have enabled their inventory to be sold via real-time bidding. And that really is what makes things programmatic.
So Latin America is a very exciting region, I think, for mobile specifically. And the reason is that that region is going to leapfrog the desktop computer. There's such a large penetration of people who don't have any internet access at all. And that's because they don't have broadband, they don't have computers in their homes. But the penetration of smartphones is accelerating, that a lot of people are experiencing the internet for the first time on a smartphone device or a tablet device.
I think it's going to grow massively, and I think there's a huge opportunity to, especially with younger people, to communicate with digital media.
So mobile is already the growth engine of the advertising industry. It's the only channel that's growing year on year. In 2013, it was $13 billion, which is 13% of the entire digital ad market, about 3% of all advertising. And that's up from just 4% 3 years ago. As consumer usage of content and consumption of content moves onto mobile devices, the advertising dollars will continue to flow in that direction.